Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you again for joining me for another edition of 5 Minutes with Phil. I want to kick things off today by asking you if you do you like surprises? Do you like things that happen that you were not expecting? I don't. And I tend to be positive and negative that way. I just, I get uncomfortable with that. Well, how about those times that those surprises are a bit negative? And for example, maybe you're a businessman and you lost a contract, and you thought for sure you had that nailed down. Maybe you weren't accepted by an institution or a college or even by a group of people or a friend. In fact, maybe you lost a friend or lost a relationship. Maybe there was a report for your work or something of that matter that came back that you were not expecting. It was actually kind of negative. How do you handle those situations? How do you deal with those things? I'm always reminded that when the surprises come my way, that it's never a surprise to God. It's never a surprise to God. And I want to show you what I mean from the book of Romans chapter 8. This is one of my absolute favorite chapters in the Bible, Romans chapter 8. Starting in verse 28, take a look at this verse with me. And here, here's what Paul says. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, so that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. Again, look at verse 28. He says, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That's really awesome to me, because what is a surprise to me is not a surprise to God. What catches me off guard doesn't catch God off guard. And so, hear me, we can trust God enough to assume that even though something happens that is a surprise to me, he is actually at work in my life to make it a positive. In fact, he's already at work. When the negative comes, God's already at work to bring the solution to what I'm going through. He's not shocked. He's not surprised. He's not taken off course. Maybe we are, but God's not. So what do? Here's what you can control. You can't always control your circumstances, right? You can't always control the things that happen, because most of these surprises are because you couldn't control it, right? But you can control your attitude, and you can control your effort in the midst of all this. Let me say that again. You can't always control your circumstances, but you can control your attitude, and you can take a lot of ownership in your effort in the midst of all of that. There's a phrase I want to flash on the screen. You give it your best. Trust God with the rest. Give it your best. Trust God with the rest. It's not your job to make things better as much as it is to trust God and give him your best effort. And once we do that, then we're at a very good place spiritually to handle the surprises when they come. So I want to bless you with that today, and I hope you have an awesome day serving the Lord. Okay, we love you. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.